Indonesia goes to the polls Wednesday in what has become the closest presidential race in Southeast Asia's largest nation. The choice, Jakarta Governor Joko Widodo, known as Jokowi, a former furniture maker, and former General Prabowo Subianto, who touts his military record and projects a strongman image. Just 2 days away from the polls, latest surveys indicate Jokowi may have taken the momentum back from Prabowo. But the margin remains slim. The Indonesian Survey Circle, or LSI, says Jokowi and his running mate Yusuf Kala has a 3.6 percentage point advantage. The chances of getting elected for Jokowi and Kala is now at 47.8% over Prabowo and running mate Hatta Rajasa's 44.2%. LSI Director for Strategy Agustino Sabudi Prasetyo tells Rappler the survey results don't take into account the final presidential debate Saturday, where Jokowi seemed to have come out strong. Jokowi's team expects a 6% to 12% margin of victory in what has become Indonesia's closest presidential race. Digital monitoring group Politica Wave also says social media sentiments favor Jokowi and Kala. The group's month-long monitoring of almost 6 million social media conversations shows a 53.8% winnability score for Jokowi and Kala over 46.2% for Prabowo and Hatta. Jokowi was initially seen to be a clear frontrunner with a 20 percentage point lead over Prabowo in March. But Prabowo's well-funded campaign managed to cut down that lead to just a few points. Maria Ressa spent a decade reporting from Indonesia during its turbulent transition to democracy. She returns to Jakarta to tell us why this vote is so important. Maria.
Paterno, go ahead.
Maria, who has the edge in these elections?
Oh my gosh, it's as you said, it's unclear exactly who will win, but both sides are from such different places. You have Joko Widodo, as you said, he's a furniture maker. He grew up in the slums of Java. He battles corruption with a kind of a folksy charm, determination. And then on the other side, you have Prabowo Subianto. He's a part of Indonesia's most powerful political dynasties. He was a former general accused of human rights violations, and more interestingly, the former son-in-law of former President Suharto. This is really a critical juncture for Indonesia in the sense that if it chooses Jokowi, they will for the very first time choose a president who has absolutely no link to its political elite. It would be a completely different choice from Prabowo, who has experience, who understands the political developments in this country, was very much, at one point, he was a chosen successor for Suharto. So very, very different roads. The question now, of course, is you have 187 million registered voters. This period is supposed to be a quiet period, but of course those laws were made before social media. What we're seeing now is still very heated conversations on social media before the Wednesday vote. Paterno?
Maria, what role does the youth and social media play in these elections?
A huge role. I mean, like the Philippines, this is a very young population. In the Philippines, our median age is about 22 to 23. Here in Indonesia, you're talking about 23 to 24 years old. So young population, about a third of that 187 million registered voters are from the youth. And if you take a look at the way they've been following this election so closely, it's actually pretty wonderful to watch. Ayi Makaraiga, our reporter, was sitting in a cafe watching the debate last Saturday. It was the last of 5 presidential debates. And again, they tackled issues like environment, issues that we rarely see in our own elections, tackled it with the same way. And the youth were sitting there cheering it like it was a World Cup match. Everyone is fastened on this because, again, look at the horse race leading right up to this weekend. You saw Prabowo basically cut down a larger than 20% Jokowi lead to nothing, leading up to that presidential debate, and then this huge concert that he had. Right after that debate on Saturday, you began to see the momentum shift. At least this is what the Jokowi camp claims. So depending on which camp you talk to, they'll tell you different things. But what is clear is, and I'll use the words of one diplomat we spoke with, everyone is on the edge of their seats.
Maria, just zooming out, why is this election important to the rest of the world?
It's extremely important. You know, Indonesia is the third largest democracy in the world, and more importantly, it is the country with the largest Muslim population. When Indonesia embraced democracy in 1998, 16 and a half years ago, it really was a signal to the Muslim world. We're seeing a wave now of Islamism going through the world, from Syria to Iraq, and the kind of evolution of a radical ideology that Indonesian democracy basically turns into a lie. If Indonesia continues to succeed at democracy, it actually shows the Islamic world that these two things, democracy and Islam, go hand in hand. The people who are fueling democracy in this country are Muslims, and that basically makes a lie out of the claims of some of the more hardline Muslim groups.
Thank you very much, Maria. That was Maria Ressa reporting live from Indonesia. For all news related to the Indonesian elections, visit www.rappler.com/Indonesia. Follow live updates from Rappler Indonesia at Rappler ID on Twitter.